Hello everyone, this is ACHAI Akaya bringing you Game 2 of the matchup between Green and BSOS. Last game was on Steps of War, and of course we have Green playing as the Protoss, BSOS is playing as the Zerg, and BSOS was trying to go for the Roach Hydra build, and ended up losing to a pretty good timing push from Green, the Protoss player, as he was able to get up in there with a few Immortals, which Immortals are just a fantastic counter against the Roaches and Hydras for the Zerg. So unfortunately for BSOS, he did lose that game in rather short order. I will try to keep these names straight this time because the red Protoss player here, Green, is playing against a green Zerg player called BSOS. So anyways, moving into Game 2 here, the first one, of course, like I said before, went to Green, the Protoss player, and we are now playing on Lost Temple. This is going to be for Game 2, and we are going to see a little bit more macro game probably this game because it is a 4-player map. You do not see a whole lot of cheese strategies or super early pushes in 4-player maps typically, although it looks like BSOS is going to scout where Green is immediately because, of course, he did spawn on the left side, and when you spawn on the left side as a Zerg player, the easiest base to scout because it's the quickest is the bottom middle here. So he will scout and find out exactly where Green is located on the map with his first scout, and it looks like Green has already sent out a probe scouting the right base, and then I'm assuming he is going to scout top and then left, so he will find BSOS last. But then it looks like BSOS is seeing that this is where Green is located indeed, so he is going to be able to find out exactly where he is early on in the game, despite the fact that Green is in the dark still. His first gateway and pylon going up at his entrance, trying to create a little bit of a choke here, as most Protoss players do at the beginning of the game. And it looks like there is no spawning pool yet for BSOS, and he has a decent amount of drones right now, 14 drones. So he did go 14 pool and then put down a spawning pool and immediately after that an extractor. So going for a very similar build for the last game, in which he got speedlings in and then basically tech to Roaches and Hydras after that. So we'll see if he follows a similar tech pattern this game, which may work out all right on this game, although he needs to be able to scout his opponent more. The problem is that he was not prepared to deal with those Immortals when they came up into his base. He needed more Zerglings in his army mixture, so we'll see if he's able to counter that correctly. But it looks like Green is going to move up into the base of BSOS, and we'll be able to see exactly what's going on. He does see that there is a spawning pool, and of course that there is one extractor up, so he is going to be very aware that there is a similar build going on from what he faced against last game. So we'll see how he responds, if he does something similar or different. It does look like he's got the same starting build going right now. He's got a Cybernetics core and a pylon going down in addition to the initial pylon and gateway, which is exactly what he did in Game 1. So very similar builds for both players this game, despite the fact that we are playing on a much larger map, although both of them did scout each other relatively early. So not a whole lot of surprises in the early game right now, and we'll see how that plays out moving further down into the game. No second extractor yet for BSOS, but it looks like there is another assimilator going up for the red Protoss player Green right now. So he is going to be going a little bit heavier on the tech once again. He was very sentry heavy last time, in addition to the 2 Immortals that he did have as well. And the first 4 Zerglings for BSOS now moving out on the map. He does have a couple more following behind that, and there is a Queen building as well. So opting to go for the Zerglings before building the Queen, that may hurt his economy a little bit down the road, just because obviously he's not going to be able to use that spawn larva mechanic immediately. And it looks like one Overlord may get taken out here by the Stalker, getting out very quickly and getting a lot of hits on. There are only 30-some hit points left on this Overlord, and trying to move out of range, and barely getting that last shot off and able to take down that Overlord. That is going to be a pretty big hit for the Zerg player. He is not quite supply blocked yet, but he is very close to it, and losing an Overlord this early in the game can be very detrimental. He does have some Zerglings out at this xel'naga watchtower here, so he will be aware of any units moving in and out of the Protoss player's base, and there's currently only 1 Zealot and 1 Stalker and 1 Sentry guarding this ramp, although there is a robotics facility and another gateway going up. So it looks like we may see once again very, very similar builds between the two, although there is actually a second hatchery going up inside the base of BSOS, and he has got a Baneling's nest. So we are going to see a little bit of a branch out here. He's going to try to do something just a little bit different. 16 Zerglings on the map for him right now. in addition to his one queen, and he is starting to use that spawn larva mechanic. So it looks like he may be going for a break here. Yeah, you can see that he is morphing about 6 banelings right now. So going to get some banelings and try to take out the zealot and possibly even some of the tech here and just move up into his base and do as much damage as possible. Another gateway going down right now, and the first observer from the robotics facility is nearly finished. And it looks like these banelings and zerglings moving up right now, going to try to take out this one zealot. Oh, and the zealot goes down with ease, and there's one force field up, but that one force field is not going to be enough to stop all those zerglings. So a handful of zerglings managing to get in. They take down one sentry and manage to, oh, I don't know if they're going to get the stalker or not. No, the stalker and sentry barely hang on. Both of them very, very low on HP. And with the help of the 2 additional zealots being warped in right there, he was able to hold that off with very, very minimal losses. So definitely very good response to the initial threat from the Zergling combo. So definitely well handled by Green. And he is getting another pylon here and continuing to add some more gateways. He is at 3 gateways now, which is what he kind of sat at for a little bit in game 1. So we'll see if he continues to stay with this 3-gate push, which is a little bit different from what most Protoss players are doing. The most popular build that seems to be right now for Protoss players, at least from what I've seen recently, appears to be the 4 gateway push. So we'll see how this plays out. In game 1, it was definitely good enough for him to win. He does have 2 queens in his main base now. Neither player has expanded at this point. So we'll see if that affects the Zerg player. Typically, most Zerg players like to be ahead by 1 base, at least temporarily, because the additional hatchery, additional queens, and additional income is important to keep up with the higher tier units and the more powerful units of the Protoss army. There are a lot of Zerglings continuing to stream out of the base from BSOS right now, although unfortunately Green does have an observer overhead, so he is 100% aware of what is going on right now. And of course, being aware of what's going on, he is not building any immortals because there is no roach threat. He only has Zerglings right now. But anyways, we got a Zergling, I'm sorry, a Stalker, Zealot, and Sentry mix right now for Green, and he is actually putting up his expansion right now, and it looks like he is going to be able to hold this off pretty well. There's a decent amount of Zerglings on the map, but definitely not enough to take on that large of a Protoss army. I'm not sure exactly what BSOS's plan is here. It looks like it may just be to mass Zerglings and Banelings for the time being, although I would expect him to try to get an expansion here somewhat soon, because he is going to need to catch up pretty quickly here if he wants to stay in this game with Green. And it looks like he's sending out his large Zergling army. Got 27 Zerglings on the map right now, and going to be morphing in some Banelings. And as you can see, with the observer overhead for Green, he's going to be able to see absolutely everything that is going on. So he's going to be 100% aware of what is coming at him right now. And with the number of sentries he has, he can pretty much create a hard wall off and just fire off at those Banelings from behind his wall of force field. So we'll see. It's going to come down to micro for that, although even if he does not micro correctly, I'm pretty sure that this is enough units to take on that army without any problems at all. So we'll see exactly what happens here. He does have a Hydralisk den up right now as well. Taking a look at the income tab here, it looks like both players are pretty even right now, although I'm sorry, in the battle going down right now, Zergling's moving in. It looks like the Banelings did very little damage, managing to take out possibly a few of the Zealots here. Yeah, it does look like there are some Zealots missing, although right now there is a large Protoss army moving out against BSOS right now, and I don't think that he has anything really to deal with this, although he's trying to throw out a bunch more Zerglings right now. If we take a look at the production overlay, we can see he is currently building 16 more Zerglings in addition to the, it looks like about 20 that he already has, so he's going to have a lot of Zerglings, although I don't think that that's going to be enough to deal with this Protoss force. There's just so much there, and with the force fields going down, actually that's not quite a perfect force field, managing to get some Zerglings out there still, but still blocking off the front of his army, so all of this range able to sit behind these force fields and pick off those Zerglings. Those Zerglings going down very quickly to the combined fire of those ranged units, but it looks like BSOS is going to be in very bad shape. Yeah, he is going to GG knowing that he could not get anything else off against this Protoss army, wishing his opponent good luck in the tournament. So it looks like this is going to go to Green, getting a 2-0 against the Zerg player BSOS. He's going to move on to the next round. GG.